Alright, good morning, y'all. It's Timothy. First off, yes, I'm doing it again. I like this dress. I hated it at first, but now that I figured out how to make it fit right, I think it is a serve. I just had to say this real quick. Moving on. I know I've already made a video about this, but fuck it, it's my channel. I can do what I want. I just wanted to say, having things to care about in your life actually feels really fucking good, and I actually really recommend it. It's kind of scary, but it's really nice. Like, for example, some days I just wake up and I'm like, holy shit. What would have stopped me from snapping like fucking a few months ago or a year ago? But it's like, oh, look at me now. Instead of like having a little black book of names that I will eventually have all the names crossed off of, I now just have a list of things I plan on getting for like people who I care about. I have a boyfriend who I love. I have friends who I actively talk to, who give a shit about me and my projects. I have a job that I really like. I eat consistently. And let me tell you, it's just very surreal. Like, I'm probably never gonna just stress how it's extremely fucking shocking. No, like, really. Think of it as this. I'm someone who used to actively go on Craigslist looking for sex because I either thought, one, I plan on turning myself into like a prostitute, losing my V card that way, and then going for like the most decrepit people ever so that they will either fucking kill me or I will become the world's most successful like hooker slash prostitute slash courtesan. Did that happen? Anyway, but moving on. Instead of me losing my fucking shit and snapping, going all American Psycho on somebody, or at the very least I haven't fully done that, whoop whoop. And instead of like, pimping myself out, instead of, just mindless sex, instead of just fucking feeling miserable all the time, hating myself and withering away in my mom's house, I have my own apartment with roommates who actually give a shit about me and actively tell me how much they appreciate my contributions to the household. Very huge difference than what happened in my life before. People used to treat me like a burden, and by people I mean my family, whenever I lived with them, because they just saw me as like an eyesore or unhygienic or a whole bunch of shit. Just for ironically, at my new place, everyone's like, oh wow, you help keep this place together, you keep it clean, you keep us all in check, or you bring a nice warm energy, we can't picture it without you. And I fucking love that. And I just think it's nice. So I'm just like expressing my gratitude. I will say this though, sometimes I do hate people who say that they're just like destined to fail in life. Like they're just destined to not have any fucking friends. Like, I've had multiple friends in my life who have just been like, ooh, I'm just gonna die alone. I'm not going to have any friends in my life. No one is going to be around me. I'm just going to go through life miserable and I hate myself for it. And one, it's like, why are you fucking talking to me then? Two, it's like, clearly, if you manage to have some sort of interesting quirk about you that made me interested in being your friend in the first place, then you're not doomed. And three, stop with the self-fulfilling prophecy bullshit. I'm going to admit, I don't like the term victim mindset. I think that's a stupid term, because usually everyone has a lot of trauma or just life events that have happened that led to their personality being the way they are. But I do hate defeatist people. I do hate people who just kind of give up without even trying, who don't even think, what if I tried? What if I tried to write that script? What if I actually put in effort with the music that I think I could make? What if I actually just took like the smallest step forward? And people who don't have that like ability in them, I kind of hate that, because no matter how hard you push them, they're just going to keep self-sabotaging, and it's like, okay. Like, I'll give some examples, because fuck it, these niggas aren't in my life. Let's see, which one should I go with? Okay, let's go with the guy from that fucking video where I talked about finding his mom's fucking dildo in the car we were hooking up with. Long story short, his parents found out we were banging and didn't like it for a plethora of reasons, mainly because they're extremely Catholic. And when they found out, they basically, despite him being like 23, they basically took away his rights to use the car, or unless he was driving strictly to work. He could do nothing except study and be at home, or go straight to work and back, and they would monitor each and every second of the day that he was ever so late or whatever. And that shit kind of pissed me, because it's like, ugh, I'll put it like this. If your kid is old enough to pay taxes, pay a car note, rent a house, or legally have a child or adopt a kid, then they can legally fuck. Stop caring about if your kids fuck. Care about if your kids are fucking safely. Like, you know, I've met niggas in my life who, like, for example, I met this one dude. His name was Maddie. Fuck Maddie, by the way. His ass, when I first met him, he was one of the dudes I first met off of Craigslist. I was 17, he was 19. In a nutshell, he told me about how literally the way he decided to get the house to himself was to bang was him literally going, hey parents, I want to sit down and have a conversation with you. So I have this girl I met on the internet and she seems really nice and I would like to meet her at this day during this time period. We plan on using condoms and lube and I just hope that you can squeeze that time in for me to have the house to myself. And they were kind of like, at first kind of like, what the fuck? But then they were like, you know, go ahead though. They even gave him a big ass bottle of fucking lube to use on me. I didn't feel comfortable touching it for so many reasons. He had his dads were really nice, really sweet fucking people. Moving on. I feel like more people should have that mindset. Like once I just realized, oh, there's people who don't have like sexual shame instilled in them and like can openly talk about that shit with their parents. That's cool. Imagine how much more sane I'd be if I had that in my lifetime, if I had that leeway. But, you know, no, instead I was fucking slut-shamed by my mom, who was doing even worse sexual shit at my age. Anyway, but let me not get off topic. Long story short, to this day, the guy I fucked, well, I could say his name, Juan Carlos. Sorry, Juan Carlos, you're never gonna see these videos, or I hope you never do. Juan Carlos, basically, his parents to this day, despite him being like 24 or 25 now, they still have basically refused to give him like any leeway. Like if he leaves the house in the middle of them yelling at each other for hours on end without saying where he's going and he just says to offend, they flip shit at him. Or like, they gave him his car back, yeah, but they basically said, hey, fuck you, we found out you're having sex with Tamia again, so we're going to pull you out of college and ship you all the way from California to the bumfuck middle of nowhere, Indiana, to live amongst racists and no diversity whatsoever. And I feel like at some point you have to take control of your life. You have to. You're going to die if you don't. Like, really think. What's the worst that could happen if you try? I'll say it. I tried, and I kind of knew, okay, the worst that'll happen is, well, I thought I knew what the worst thing could happen was, but it ended up working out in my favor. Like, I stood up to my mother. She tried to fucking attack me. And then, oh look, a series of events happened, and almost like several months worth of trauma, that led to me being in the place where I am now. Now I have my own job, I cut those fuckers off, I make my own money, and I feel fucking immaculate. And I feel like I hate people who are just like, oh, I'm never gonna work on my music because I don't think I can make it. Okay, if you think your music's gonna suck, you might as well just make it anyway. Worst that happens is you go, oh, okay, this fucking is ass, and I'll just like delete this file and never think about it again, or I'll save it as like a lesson to learn from, but I'm glad I tried it. I just hate defeatist people. I hate people who are like, ooh, I'm never going to stand up to my parents. I'm going to let them control my entire life. Oh, I'm never going to ever in my fucking life dare to even step outside of the boundaries of comfort. Like, you know, you can't just go from having no friends to having friends. You have to start off like, okay, letting myself be who I am unabashedly. Taking the risk of being rejected, introducing myself to people, getting used to meeting really fuck-ass people, and then you just keep going until eventually, next thing you know, you're me. You're someone who went from debilitating anxiety and stuttering whenever you talk to anybody, unable to make eye contact, to suddenly being a vulnerable bitch on the internet with 200 and fucking who knows how many subscribers on YouTube who actually give a fuck about the things you say, because it turns out you were never uninteresting or boring or dull. People just like to tell you that because they were projecting, or because they never actually bothered to let you truly be you. So the survival mode you had to be is just thriving. Anyway, moral of the story, just never be grateful for things in life. It can always be worse, but at the same time, always aim for better. Like, think about it. If you don't take that one step to actually go, okay, I'm going to go on this like subreddit and try to like talk to somebody, strike up a new conversation, or I'm gonna at least ask this girl out, and even if she calls me a fucking weirdo and blocks me, at least I tried. Like, you know, I've met tons of people who thought they couldn't get anywhere in life, and they did. So try. Come on now, you can do it. Love you. Take care of yourself.